Thanks. Hey, it's great to be here. So how many people came here with a friend tonight? It's pretty good. How many came looking for a friend tonight? Yeah, well, you're smart, right? Because we know it's good to have friends. Frank Capra had it right. No man is a failure who has friends. And if you have an inability to connect with other individuals, as people with Asperger's and autism do, right, this can be devastating. You can't connect with people, you can't fit in to society. So where does all of this magic come from? How do we actually find our way to connect with other individuals? Well, it starts here, in the brain, right? 100 billion neurons making 100 trillion connections with each other. And somehow out of all of this mass, right, emerges our ability to find each other. And over the last 10 years or so, scientists have discovered that there is a set of areas in the brain that are active when you see somebody you like, when you give them something, when you feel their pain. We call this the social network of the brain's social network. And we have found in my own lab that individual brain cells in monkeys respond the same way when those monkeys give a reward to a friend as they do when the monkey gives himself a reward. And this is pretty interesting because it suggests and is consistent with theories from psychology in which the idea is that the way we understand another individual's experience is by simulating it through our own experience, right? This simulation theory. This is the embodiment, the mechanism that allows us to understand other individuals' experiences. So what's remarkable about this brain network is that the bigger it is, the better connected it is, the more friends you tend to have. Now, is it destiny? Are you born with a certain capacity to make friends? Well, some recent work with monkeys has shown that if you experimentally put them into different sized groups, you force a monkey to have 20 friends instead of one friend, you see the same thing happen. Their social brain network becomes better connected, better developed. Okay, so there's a lot of plasticity there. You can change. You can become a better connector. A lot of this plasticity is driven by a hormone called oxytocin. Anyone ever heard of it? God, everybody's heard of oxytocin, the love hormone, etc. It's a remarkable hormone produced in the hypothalamus, and it does remarkable things for us. So it's released in women when they give birth, when they nurse their children. Okay? It's also released in both women and men during orgasm. I had to get that slide in there. So what's the point of orgasm then, right? Hopefully to make a connection with somebody else. And finally, or not, we could talk about that later. Oxytocin is released when you make eye contact with someone. So when you are staring into someone's eyes, when you're actually really drinking them in, we see a release of oxytocin. And oxytocin is this amazing, wonderful hormone. It turns out that if you give it to people who have trouble connecting with others, people with autism, Asperger's, etc., you can promote eye contact that they normally would not make. And if you give it to typically developing people, they'll become kinder and nicer to other people. And you see this in monkeys too. So, okay, you say, okay, that's great, Doc. That's all really interesting. But what in the hell am I going to do with this? So I'll give you a few ideas. One is I'm going to challenge this notion of effective altruism, which is being promoted on the West Coast. This sort of Silicon Valley approach to charitable giving, which says compute the best, most effective way that you can get your money to someone. Okay? Well, that sounds really rational. It sounds like a good thing. Okay, where can I have the biggest effect with my dollars? But what this does is it robs you of the experience that you normally would have, that we evolved to have, where we actually experience another individual's feeling good because you gave something to them. And this would promote, I think, and reinforce your tendency to give to other individuals. This would promote connections. I also think this brings up some very interesting questions about our virtual lives. Okay, well, if you're spending all your time online liking people, but you're not actually out there connecting with them, what do you think you're doing to these brain networks? I think this could be a big problem, and we're going to see emerge in the next 10 years. This is also a business opportunity. So can this science potentially help companies connect with consumers and maybe help consumers connect with the products that they love? I don't know, but we're thinking about it. And if I leave you with two things, the first would be, when you're out there in the world, look at people, see them as people. That will give your social network something to chew on, okay, something to experience, and will hopefully make you connect with them. And finally, if you're thinking about going out for the evening and you want to get primed to interact with people, maybe you're a little too scared to look somebody else in the eye, but you can always rely on your dog. It turns out that if you stare your dog in the eye, you make eye contact, you both have oxytocin released, and hopefully that'll prime you for your evening out. So thank you.